This is a beautiful thumbnail or image that I have on my computer screen, and this thumbnail relates to a video I've already posted about data automation with macros, and I'm going to link this video in the description below. Please check it out after this particular video. In this video, we are going to depend on this previous video and advance ourselves in terms of data entry, where we are going to have some shortcuts, some buttons, and also record some macros to have a beautiful data entry in Microsoft Excel. Let's jump in and let me show you how to do this particular data automation. Now, this is my Excel workbook, and when you move to the Sheet tab, I have this one sheet open, which is sheet 1. I'm going to double click and change the name. So I'm going to call this particular sheet as student data, and I'm going to create another sheet and call this dashboard. Then you hit the enter key. Now I have two worksheets created in this workbook. Let me move to this particular sheet, which is student data, and I'm going to move to the status bar and click on this zoom percentage, which is 100%, and I'm going to have this dialog box. I'm going to zoom in to 200%. Perfect. Now I'll move to the first cell in this particular worksheet. Then I'll move to the second worksheet and then move to this particular option and also zoom this to 200%. This is our two worksheets we are going to use to have this data entry, that is data automation entry in Microsoft Excel. In this first worksheet, I'm going to type the heading of the corresponding data. So I have serial number, name, and also score 1. We engage our student into some practical session, and we have 4 scores out of the practical session. So I have score 1. So I'm going to move to type score 2, but you can quickly hold Ctrl+D, and this copies this particular data. Then you move to the formula bar and change the number to 2. Then we hold Ctrl+D once again, which you can also hold F2 on the keyboard and change this to 3 and press the enter key. Then we move to the last one, Ctrl+D, move to the formula bar and change this to 4 and press the enter key. So this is going to be our heading. This was the heading based on the data collection from our student. I'm going to select all this and then use the bold option in the font group, which you can also use Ctrl+B on the keyboard. Now, since this data is selected, we can right click and choose copy. You can also use Ctrl+C to copy. Then we move to this worksheet and then hold Ctrl+Alt and the letter V. This is going to bring out the paste special dialog box, and then in this window we have this option known as transpose, and when you click, we choose OK. Now this is going to paste the serial number, the name, the score 1, score 2, score 3, and score 4 into this individual cells. Now we move back to the home tab in the alignment group. Whilst this data is selected, then we choose center. There is one particular heading which is not part of the previous worksheet. I'm going to add it so that this automation will automatically add our score when we enter these scores under this individual columns. So I'm going to type total. Perfectly. Now I'm going to select these cells by using Ctrl Shift and the right arrow key, and I'm going to apply some filter option to it. Therefore I'll hold Ctrl Shift and the letter L. So you can see that we have these arrows beside this individual columns, and these are called filters. You can also have this down. When you move to the menu bar and click on the data tab, we have the sort and filter option, and you can click on this option to activate it. So presently I have this filter option activated on these headings. Now that we have this, let's move back to the student data, and we are going to enter the data that will correspond with these headings. So I'm going to select this and type 101, enter. So this is the data that correspond to these headings. I'm going to select this data, move to the home tab, and then in the alignment group I'm going to center this data. Now we have this done perfectly. So we are going to use our macro to record the entry of this particular data. So what we are going to do is we move to the developer tab, click, and if you don't have this tab activated, I have a video in the description below that shows you how to do it. Then under this developer tab, we move to the code group and choose record macro. We have this beautiful dialog box, and we are going to give a name to this macro. So I'm going to call this data entry. So I have data entry, and between these two texts I have the underscore displayed over there. You can provide spaces when you are giving name to a macro. So either you combine the text together or you use the underscore to separate the text. So now I have this done. This time around we move below this macro name and we have shortcut key, and presently control is available. I'm going to click in this particular field and hold shift key and the letter J, and I'm going to create this shortcut for this macro. So I click on OK. Now this has started recording, because when I move to the code group I have stop recording. So we will move to the dashboard, then we use the left arrow key, and that is going to select the first cell. Then I'll use the down arrow key to move the cell from this to this particular cell, which is A2. Then we move to the home tab, and then the home tab we have the cells group. This is the cells group, and we have the insert option. Let's click on the drop down arrow and choose insert sheet rows and see what will happen here. This has created another row in this particular sheet. Whilst this is done, we will move back to the student data, and then we are going to select these cells. So we click on this, use the right arrow key, and I'm going to hold Control Shift and the down arrow key, and that is going to select this data. Hold Control plus C. Then we move back to the dashboard. Now we have this cell selected. We hold Control Alt and the letter V, and then in this paste special dialog box we choose transpose and click on OK. Now you can see that this is also well centered as illustrated in the student data worksheet. So these data are centered here. Now whilst this is done, I'm going to click here and then use the sum function to add these numbers. So we click and drag, then I'm going to press the enter key. So this gives us the total of this particular data. Then we move back to this serial number, click on the arrow, and then we are going to choose sort smallest to largest. Then we move back to the student data, and then select this, use the right arrow key, Control Shift down, and press the delete key on the keyboard. Now we have this done. Move back to the developer tab and choose stop recording. Now we have our recorded macro saved in Microsoft Excel. Now see what happens here. I have this as 101 for the serial number, and this is the name, the score, the score, the score, and the score, and also we have the total score for these individual scores. If I move to the student data, select this and type 105, enter. Now in this student data worksheet, if I hold the shortcut key that I gave to the macro during the recording, which is Control Shift J, this is going to erase the data that we have here. But when we move to the dashboard, we have the data entered into this particular dashboard, and this has calculated the total for us. The reason why we use the filter option in this dashboard is because if I key in another serial number that is between this and this, that is going to appear before this particular serial number. If not, Then any serial number that you enter, you are going to have a continuous data entry, but this time around this macro is going to arrange your data according to the serial number. Let me give you an example. This is 101 and this is 105. Let's move back to the student data, and I'm going to type 103. Now when I use the shortcut key Ctrl Shift J and move back to the dashboard, you can see that this has arranged this serial number. Now we have 101, 103 and 105. So I'm going to enter 2 more data, and then we see how this is going to arrange our data based on the filter option. So we move back to the student data. Now I have done 2 entries in this student data worksheet, and let me move to the dashboard worksheet and see what we have here. So we have 101, 102, 103, 104, 105 and 107. Now if I move back and enter a serial number that has 104 and 106, this is going to rearrange our data for us and still calculate this total score given to us. And this was done by macro. We didn't use our manual way to do this particular option. So let's move back to the student data. Now let's move back to the dashboard. So you can see this has perfectly arranged this serial number and also have our data tabulated. So we have 101, 102, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 perfectly. This is the magic of macro in Microsoft Excel. Now the last thing that you can do is, let's move to the developer tab, and then in the controls group we click on this insert and choose this form button. When you click, let's draw, we have this assign macro dialog box, and this is the name of our macro. We choose this and click on OK. Now I'm going to select this and use the delete key and type submit entry. We can adjust the box. You can use Control and then click to select, and let's place this beside this particular option. Now what we can do next is to move to the view tab, and then we are going to deactivate the grid lines. Perfect. Now when we select this and type 109, now instead of using the shortcut, you can also use this button, and when you click, this also submits your entry, and when we get back to our dashboard, we have this data available, and also its total score is calculated. So this is a simple, useful and also understandable way of using macro to perform some repetitive actions in Microsoft Excel. You can even go to the extent to format your headings based on your preference, where you can choose a fill color given to it, and that depends on you. Hope this video was well explained and illustrated. If so, give it a like, share, comment, and also if you are new to this channel, subscribe and be part of this great community.